What's up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Campaigners for and against Taiwan's upcoming lawmaker recall votes held major rallies over the weekend. In New Taipei City, heavyweights from Taiwan's main opposition Kuomintang showed support for its 24 lawmakers who are facing recall votes next Saturday. Among them was former President Ma Ying-jeou, who said the ruling DPP was provoking war with China and violating human rights. Meanwhile, the civic groups that initiated the recall campaigns organized their own event in Taipei. There, DPP Legislative Caucus Secretary General Wu Siyao said the recalls were not about politics, but about restoring Taiwan's democracy and bringing order to the legislature. The U.S. House of Representatives has just passed its 2026 defense appropriations bill, which includes $500 million allocated for Taiwan. The funds can be used to boost Taiwan's ability to defend itself, including for weapons purchases and military training. This comes as Taiwan faces threats from China, which sees Taiwan as its territory and has said it will take by force if necessary. The funds still need approval by the U.S. Senate to be granted. A retired U.S. Admiral says that United States Armed Forces should slowly be integrated into Taiwan's largest annual military exercises.
The HK exercise series should become bilateral over time. It should integrate U.S. naval forces, U.S. air forces, U.S. ground forces.
Montgomery was talking about Taiwan's annual Kuang military exercises. This year's live-fire drills, which were the longest ever at 10 days and 9 nights, wrapped up on Friday. Taiwan also integrated its largest ever number of reservists into this year's exercises, a move that Montgomery also praised.
And to see 20,000 plus reservists is important. Over time, Taiwan has to redesign their active duty reserve balance to get it right, but this is a great first step.
This year's exercises were about twice as long as last year's. Taiwan wrapped up its largest ever Kuang military exercises, simulating defending against a Chinese invasion. But to better understand Taiwan's diplomatic position, Isabel Wang spoke to former Secretary General to the President David Lee, a veteran diplomat. Lee also served as Taiwan's foreign minister and headed the National Security Council.
We actually held several leadership roles, not only in foreign service, but also in public servant.
Yeah.
I'm interested in knowing what is your definition of diplomacy?
Diplomacy is an art, not a science. Diplomacy involves a lot of negotiation, reconciliation. So a skill which demands a lot of, the recent President Trump's terminology is the art of the deal. To serve as a country's diplomat, you have to represent your country well, and also to serve your country's national interest, or we may say that to maximize the interest of your own country.
In your book, you mentioned a part that we want to avoid Taiwan become a collateral damage in the U.S.-China conversations. So in the future, do you think we are likely to become that collateral damage?
All in all, I still consider my motto, prudence and moderation, are very important principles in conducting our relations with the United States. You have to think through all the consequences, all the options. You have to be very cautious, very prudent, and most of the time, I would say that to choose something in the middle, that's the reason I use the word of moderation, is relatively the better choice. Decision making is a very difficult job because most of the decisions are made to make a choice in the fog, in the mist. So I myself, when I served as Secretary General to the President, my job was to formulate some options for the President to choose. Sometimes she would ask me which choice will be the best. I always choose the moderate one.
I like the way that you mentioned being prudent and moderation. But we're in the Trump 2.0 era right now. Everything is very hard to predict. How would you say that the Taiwanese officials, when they're dealing with the United States or the Trump administration, what should they keep in mind?
It's only 5 months since President Trump took over. In my view, still very difficult to read how is he going to conduct relations with Taiwan. But based on the experience of the past months, I think President Trump is a great deal maker, as he calls himself, a grand deal maker. So I think he understands the strategic importance of Taiwan, in terms of our strategic location, in terms of the importance of Taiwan in the high-tech supply chain, and others. So I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to maintain good relations with the President Trump's administration. Also, I believe that President Trump will keep us in peace in the rest of 3 years and 7 months. That's my reading.
But some may say that there's the potential of 2027 Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Would that probably become like the next Taiwan Strait crisis in your point of view?
It's only because of Xi Jinping told the People's Liberation Army to be ready, to have the capability to invade. That's the timeline set by Xi Jinping to the PLA. It doesn't mean that we will have a crisis by 2027. So it's a man-made hypothetical dateline. And at that time will be still President Trump in the White House. I believe that he has the talent and skill to manage the relationship with Beijing.
That was former senior Taiwanese official David Lee. You can watch the full interview with him on Zoom In, Zoom Out. At least 38 people are dead after a tourist boat capsized in Vietnam. The boat reportedly got caught in a storm, causing it to capsize and lose its GPS signal. It was out in Ha Long Bay, a popular tourist destination in Vietnam. Local media reported 48 tourists on board. Search and rescue efforts are still underway, with at least 38 bodies recovered and at least 11 people rescued so far. At least 12 people were killed in an Israeli airstrike on a refugee camp in Gaza. This comes just 1 day after Israeli troops reportedly opened fire on Palestinians waiting for food at food distribution sites, killing over 30 people. Just the latest in a series of similar incidents of people being killed while waiting for food. It also comes amid discussions of an interim truce between the two sides. At least 10 people have died and 9 are missing in South Korea after heavy rains battered the country, triggering floods in some areas. Images show Hapcheon County in the southeast hit by flash floods, with roads and residential areas inundated. Landslides have also been reported throughout the country. Local schools have been converted into emergency shelters as thousands have been unable to return home. Typhoon Wipha has moved away from Taiwan after dumping heavy rain on its east coast. The storm has now moved towards Hong Kong, bringing wind and rainfall across the territory, which has halted most public transport and suspended classes on Sunday. Many flights between Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau have also been canceled. Taiwan may face yet another typhoon next week. Sheding Natural Park at the southern tip of Taiwan has been a haven for the local ecosystem and nature lovers. The nearby community hopes the park's growing popularity provides a chance to teach more people about sustainability. Irene Lin reports.
那个叫黄金蛹啊，月千叶就是一个躲避天敌。
With more than 50 types of butterfly, hundreds of plant species, and distinct natural scenery such as trees growing atop ancient coral reefs, Sheding Natural Park in Pingtung County, part of Kending National Park, is many nature lovers' favorite secret spot in the far south of Taiwan. Zhao Mingkun is one of the park rangers here. He says giving these small group tours has been an educational experience for both the visitors and himself.
在你做生态导览分享的过程当中，可以很深入的去了解这个物种。
The park is quieter than most tourist attractions, which has helped local flora and fauna flourish with as little disturbance as possible. But some animals have had to rely on humans, such as the Formosan Sika deer. It was once on the brink of extinction, now repopulating its habitat after years of effort.
我曾经有一次的经验，就看到梅花鹿3只母鹿带着2只小梅花鹿走进我们社区的步道，很多人都坐飞机到日本去看奈良的梅花鹿啊。 我们自己本身花这么长的时间来富裕这个资源，我们都一直都没有利用到的。
The eastern area of the park has been reserved for Formosan Sika deer research. As the park gains popularity, the local community may face more challenges maintaining the harmony between humans and nature. But they're still optimistic that with more education and exposure, people may grow to cherish what nature has to offer. Patrick Chen and Ringland for TaiwanPlus.
From a pen to the belly of a tiger, it's not the deer this program aims to protect. By releasing prey animals, park officials hope to restore Thailand's tiger population and heal a damaged ecosystem. John Van Trieste has more.
A lone tiger approaches a camera trap in the jungles of western Thailand, slowly prowling through the understory. It's a special moment caught on video, and one much more common than it used to be. In 2007, there were just around 40 of these big cats left here in the Western Forest Complex near the Myanmar border. But a joint project by Thailand's government and the World Wildlife Fund has slowly turned things around. Now there are about 200. Conservationists are thrilled. It's a rare bright spot in a part of the world where tiger numbers have collapsed.
Thailand's tiger recovery is extraordinary. It's extraordinary in the context of Southeast Asia. No other Southeast Asia country has an increasing tiger population.
And this is one of the secrets of the program's success, the sambar deer. These are native prey and great tiger food, but they've been in decline like the tigers. So, 5 years ago, the program started releasing captive deer back into the wild.
Previously, the tigers and the sambar deer both disappeared from here. If some animals disappear from the food chain, it will cause the ecosystem in that area to be incomplete. We consider what we're doing a very good activity.
But while some of these deer will end up as a tiger's meal, conservationists say they've shown themselves adaptable and resilient, and even able to thrive. Most go on to reproduce, bringing a second species back from the brink.
The purpose of releasing sambar deer is not solely to serve as prey to predatory animals, but because the population was small, we wanted to preserve the species of deer to have a higher population first.
This kind of eco-initiative isn't exactly new. Prey release projects have been going on in Africa for years. But for Southeast Asia, this tiger and deer project is a starting point. As tigers settle permanently in this corner of Thailand, other release programs are starting in neighboring Cambodia and Malaysia, bringing species and ecosystems out of decline in a region that's seen its fair share of ecological destruction. Luffy Lee and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
And thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, let's take a look at dozens of fans of English singer Kate Bush dancing in red in a Berlin park for the most Wuthering Heights day ever. I'm mostly Liao. Take care. We'll see you next time.
I'm Tiffany Wong in Kuala Lumpur, and you're watching TaiwanPlus.